I'd like to welcome everybody to the Melody Lane Crafting Zoom room. We're honored again to have Jamie Leonard come in and do a demonstration, this time on the Spellbinders Better press. Thank you, Jamie.
Anytime. Okay, so I think where I want to start, this is your basic Better press system. It's got the top platen, I think is what they're calling it. And then this bottom one is your magnetic one that holds your plates in place. And then it comes with 3 of these super thin shims that go underneath. The 3 shims underneath are used based on using their paper, which is, I think it's 100 pound or 110 pounds, so it's pretty thick. And then this, I found on my very first use that it stains horribly, and you cannot get the stains off to save your life. So what I did, when you get the machine, it comes with this wrapper on it. I took my wrapper off and I cut the front to match the size of the plate. And then I just used my tape runner to tape it down on all 4 corners and a strip down the middle. Now it wipes right off.
What a good idea.
Yeah, great idea.
So that'll at least keep that clean if you care. I normally I don't care, but for that one I did.
I love the way you have it marked too for A1 by A2s and
well, that's the one thing I really liked about this one is it's already marked for that, and so is your platen.
Cool.
So as long as you're lined up on the marks on both pieces, they'll stay lined up. I did purchase an extra set of the little spacers, the little thin white ones, because sometimes you want to do this on a thinner cardstock, and if you do that, you're going to need them. Today, I'm doing it on vellum, which, as you all know, is pretty thin. So I used my calipers to measure the distance, and I'm going to need 2 extra shims to make up for the thickness of my paper. Oh my goodness. So I'll just add 2 more underneath. And I basically did this whole card setup minus gluing everything together. All I left was the part that needs the better press to make this go a little bit faster. What I used was just some basic vellum that I happen to have on hand. I used the Astrobytes metallic cardstock for my inside sentiment piece. And then I used this holographic foil cardstock paper from Recollections is the piece that I'm using to go behind my vellum.
Oh, that's pretty.
I love this stuff. And it's actually pretty thin, so it doesn't add a lot of bulk to your card. I'm thinking maybe it says 65 pound, but it feels more like 50 at best. And I think any vellum will work because this isn't printable or anything, and my ink seemed to stick to it just fine. So I used an extra piece of the Cricut cardstock that is my card base to do a foiled sentiment using the glimmer foil press. I did that ahead of time so it would be ready. And then I used the holographic silver Spellbinders glimmer foil for that.
If anybody's interested in seeing a demonstration of that, Jamie was in showing that also, and that'll be up on the Zoom Facebook page very soon.
This sentiment one came from this Better Press plate set. You can use this one in the Better Press or in the glimmer foil machine. And it's really cool because it comes with a die too. So you can do like a whole strip, like all of these, and then cut them out all at once. So you can just have the extras ready for when you need them. And then the press plate that I'm using today is going to be this one. We'll put that up first. My card is going to end up being a 5x7. So let's see, which way do I want to go? I think I want to go. Scooch. Well, as you can tell, the magnet works really good.
Those lines are great.
Oh my gosh, right? I wish the foil press was kind of set up that way. I mean, I realize it kind of can't be, but gosh, it would be nice. Okay. So you just get this lined up wherever you want it in correlation to where your paper is. And then you do the same thing with your paper or your cardstock or whatever it is you're going to use. See if I can do this without my head being in the way.
Janet, if you have a question, go ahead and ask it. You can unmute and ask it.
Like when I was down in Florida, I think at Betty's, we went and I saw that. No, it was when we were in Greenville, wasn't it? That we went and I saw that foil heat press. There's somewhere I saw that in person, but I didn't understand exactly how that worked. And how do you like it?
Oh, I see.
How do you what? Sorry.
How do you like it?
I actually really love it. I mean, I hate that I'm limited to whatever plates I might have, but I mix and match stuff a lot, so that kind of helps and it makes them go farther. Okay, so you want to, in this case, I'm just taping my corners because they're not going to be in the way of this, but you'll want to tape this wherever your die isn't going to touch so that you don't accidentally end up with blank spots. And as you can see, I'm nowhere near any of them. And I'm using Better Press ink. VersaFine sort of works, but I've noticed that it tends to leave your edges a little bit fuzzy. It's not as crisp as the Better Press ink. I also tried the Ranger archival ink, which is technically, this is made by Ranger, but there's something in this that's a little bit different and it works better for some reason. It's not as crisp with the archival ink. And then when you're inking these, you kind of want to push and gently twist at the same time so that you get all of the little nooks and crannies in the dies. And you don't have to be too fast because it does stay wet for a bit. And then if you happen to get ink on your plate, which I just did on the background, you can just grab your napkin and wipe it off so you don't risk getting it on your paper. And then it just drops in place. There is a gap here, so it won't actually touch your paper until you run it through your die cutting machine. And in this case, I'm just using my Spellbinders Platinum, but this also should work with the Cuttlebug and the Big Shot. And just like with the foil, you kind of want to go slow just to make sure you're getting a really good impression. And this one, you will feel a little bit of resistance. It's not quite as light going through as the foil press is. There you go.
Wow,
Isn't that pretty?
beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, now to clean these, they tell you to use archival ink cleaner. I found that doesn't do a really great job. I've been using the Stays On cleaner. The archival cleaner gets it clean, like the ink won't come off onto something else, but it does kind of leave a stain behind. And actually, if I recall, this mulberry one actually kind of stains the plates anyway. I will scrub that some more later. Now, I was going to use a blending brush with my distress oxides, but I was testing it earlier and it wasn't blending out quite like I was hoping. So I'm going to show you how to do the background using a jelly plate. Oh, right after I get this off here.
What kind of tape are you using, Jamie?
This is just the tape that the foil quill came with. Washi tape works. Okay, that's actually still wet. So I'm going to do all of my card edges while we're waiting for that to dry. So I wanted to give them just a little bit of shape. So I'm using a crocodile edge punch and I'm going to do the stub design for all of my corners.
Does that crocodile punch come with all different types of corners, or is it?
Each one comes with two corners, like there's a corner on each side.
Okay.
This one is the stub, which is the one I'm using, and then the other side is a scallop.
Okay.
Hang on, let me grab a piece of paper and I'll show you the scallop. Well, it would help if I got it in there straight.
Yeah.
Okay, there you
Okay.
And then there's one that does rounded corners in two different sizes, and there's a ticket punch one that just takes the corner off in a straight pattern, and it does it in two different sizes.
Wow.
And then I think there's another one that I don't happen to have.
Don't make it easy.
My goodness, too many more things to add to my craft collection.
Exactly.
Fill up that dream box.
Yeah, really.
You got a dream box, Gianna?
It'll once I move.
I
How's
That's
that going?
That's my birthday present for all the hard work I've been doing.
That's good.
I'll see how my
You deserve it.
what people's stomach is feeling for people. Yeah, don't worry.
Now that foil press, is that cold or a heated one?
It's heated.
Okay, it is the heated one. Okay.
Well, I will because.
Okay, well,
Janet,
that's
we'll
drying.
have-
Go ahead and glue my part together.
Jamie, it's hard to get out of the urge to type in the chat the Nightbot words.
Ah,
That's what I've
that's hard for me too, because that's the way I'm used to doing it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's about as straight as that's going to get.
Sounds like all of us, I think.
gotta love your precision press. I love mine.
Oh my gosh, me too. I don't know what I'd do without it,
I'm gonna tell you, cry. 'cause
especially on the bigger stuff from the Venture.
yeah. It just definitely helps when you're fighting carpal tunnel or arthritis in your thumbs.
Well,
Yeah, that too.
not fighting
It's
it
super
anyway.
helpful with that. Okay. Dry it.
What kind of glue do you use?
I use art glitter glue sometimes, but I'm kind of more fond of the Barely Art glue. The
Mhm.
glue that's in there right now is from Cosmic Shimmer. And I really like that one too, although it's not as good on acetate.
Yeah.
It's great for a lot of things, but acetate, it seems to just take forever to dry.
Mm.
I have a couple of spots on here that are still damp.
Cosmic Shimmer Specialist acrylic glue.
Let me check.
I have it.
Yep.
Yep, that's what it looks like. I got that same bottle. I just never have opened it.
I love this glue. I like it because it's a little bit thicker, so it does take a little bit longer to dry.
Does it get tacky
it-
first?
Well, it does. I mean, it holds on okay for tacking stuff, but like on the acetate sheets, it just takes forever.
Okay. I don't know why I bought it before, but I got that. I got Barely Art. I got, I got all the stuff because I think that's going to make me a better cracker. Now I just need to craft.
Well, I think you'll find you really like that Cosmic Shimmer. Okay, I'm just doing that so I don't smear my ink in case it was wet. And as you can, well, maybe you can see, there's a couple of little tiny dots where it wasn't quite dry. Okay.
That's a good tip.
All right. So now for my jelly plate. So what I'm going to do, this is the worn lipstick from Ranger in the Distress Oxide. I'm just going to pat it on there a few times. And then I'm going to use my brayer to spread it out and get it as even as I can. That's even enough, I don't think. Oh, no. And once you do this, you could honestly get 3 or 4 backgrounds off of this, most likely. And then I actually want this to be on the back. So I'm just going to drop that face down. And I'm going to grab my piece of paper again, just so I don't get ink on my felt.
Wow.
Let me move that so you can see.
That's gorgeous.
See how it just kind of picked up a light pink tint?
Mm-hmm. All right.
And the ink I used on the Better press was the mulberry. It's kind of like a really dark grape purple.
Mm-hmm.
Not that you can tell. Okay, now Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to do a couple of dots of glue because they're going to show no matter what because it's vellum. And then I'll hide a couple of dots behind some of the ink where it won't be seen as much.
Oh, wow.
Oh, pretty.
Isn't that pretty?
Gorgeous.
So delicate, you know, so
And it won't be, this glue won't be quite as obvious when it dries, but these four corners are going to show. There's just nothing you can do about it with vellum. And I love how the oxide ink worked on the jelly plate because you've got sections where you don't really have color, so it's still kind of clear, and then you've got darker pink in spots.
That's great.
Okay, and then for the sentiment, I'm going to use some thin foam squares from Scrapbook Adhesives. I'm mailing this one, so I don't want it to be too thick.
when you say thin, do you have any idea how thin it is? What it measures?
I believe these are 1/16. They're super thin.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'll grab the package and show you the difference. The same company makes them in two different thicknesses. Well, I don't have a white open, but here's a black.
Oh, wow.
There's just a tiny, tiny little bit of lift compared to the standard.
Yeah.
I tend to use these thinner ones when I'm mailing something, so it keeps the bulk down. And then just to give it a little something extra, I'm going to add some pearls up in the corner. Really?
What are you using there?
It's just a quick stick. It does not like the surface of these pearls well. Okay, there we go. Done.
That's amazing, Jamie.
That is.
Thanks.
I'm
Very
gonna,
nice.
I'm gonna
That's
take the
beautiful, Jamie.
spotlight off
That
for
is
just a second.
Nice card.
Does anybody have any questions?
No, but that's absolutely beautiful.
Mhm.
Um, now what kind of is it a die type thing or is it some other thing?
Kinda, yeah. So they
Oh,
resemble.
no.
I left it in the machine because I'm smart like. So it's gonna look a lot like a cutting die.
Mhm.
They're just metal dies. They have a well, anybody that's got one of these can tell you the finish on these is a little bit different. They just almost feel kind of velvety.
Okay.
And I guess that texture is what holds on to the ink. But
Wow.
they basically they look like a cutting die. They just don't actually have a cutting edge.
So it's a whole new ball game. You're having to buy more.
Yeah, it is. And I've seen a few people use regular dies to do this,
Mm,
and you can, but the regular dies are a little bit thicker, so you kind of risk possibly messing up your machine doing it. So I have not done it yet.
okay.
And you would get super fine lines with a cutting die because obviously they're just meant to cut.
Would you remove those shims if you used another brand?
Yeah, I think I probably would, or at the very least, I don't know, I might take my calipers and measure the distance, the thickness of these compared to whatever die I was using, and then maybe remove the shims to match that and hope that it did okay. I think it would. And then I would probably put like a piece of copy paper or something on the top underneath this, just so that there wasn't a risk of it cutting into this.
Stop it. Go get your phone.
I don't think it would cut into it, but just on the off chance that it might, I think I'd rather have paper under there just to be sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes.
I
Okay.
have the
You can
crafter's
put it in
companion foiling machine.
Um,
I have the laminator for hot foiling that way. And
You
I
better get.
also have the laser printer for foiling that way. So what would be the advantage of this over them?
well, okay, so for the hot foiling, it's kind of a toss up. If you've got a laser printer and all your hot foil supplies, you can obviously do a lot more because you can pretty much use any image you find that has an outline of some sort. Whereas with this, you're limited to whatever you have on these plates. So obviously that would be more beneficial, but like an idiot, I got rid of my laser printer ages ago and put all of that stuff away. I really wasn't foiling that much. But then I saw this system a couple of years ago and I was like, I really want to try that. And I love it because you do get with, well, the Better Press and the foil, but more the Better Press. You can't see it, but you can feel this. It actually presses it down into the paper like it debosses it. So you don't just get the foil or the ink, you get that texture too. Which is something you won't get from your laminating foils, obviously.
So really, I don't need to buy another machine.
My
I
thought
really didn't
was-
either, but I am kind of like pretty much every other crafter who says, "Oh, I don't need that," and then the next thing you know, it's in your cart and you're waiting for the mailman.
Mhm.
I'll get it if somebody
Now,
hands it to me. but-
now what about
And it's just one more thing that I can use with all of my Cricut stuff.
Yeah.
now with heat embossing?
She did a whole tutorial last night. Janet, I don't know if you heard, but we'll have that up. We taped it and we'll have
Yeah,
that.
that
up
was,
on-
but that was with the foiler.
Right,
Yeah, that was with the
one-
foiler.
Yeah, I'm talking about the heat embossing. Because that's where you put the that embossing stuff on and then use the powders and then use your heat gun?
Yeah.
Right.
Embossing.
And I've done that too, and I still do that a little bit. As a matter of fact, I don't know, well, I'm sure you know because Melody's even mentioned it. Ranger has some bullet point embossing pins, and those fit your
oh.
Cricut machines.
Oh,
So you use those pins in the Cricut machine to draw your design and then heat emboss it with the embossing powders.
oh,
Just in case.
uh-huh. What are
Oh,
they,
But
that's pretty
only
cool.
the bullet point.
bullet
The
point,
other pointed ones don't work.
what are they called? Bullet point embossing pens?
Yeah. I think that's what they're called.
Well, I guess I'm gonna
let me
add something to my cart.
let me look that up real quick and I will tell you. I know it's Ranger.
Yeah, some from them too.
I'm almost sure he called them embossing pins. Okay, so it's Ranger embossing pins. They come in a 2-pack and you can get them in clear or in black.
Okay.
Okay. How expensive are they?
They're not too bad. So the black ones look like they're $6.89.
Oh, that's cheap. Okay.
Yeah, they're not that bad, and it's for 2 pins.
Right.
All right.
And
And
the-
then the clear ones. Okay, at the moment, I'm only seeing the clear one in a 2-pack with an embossing pad, the like the VersaFine pad.
Mhm.
That one is $12.40. Or you can get
I know I need some. What? Who's can be on tail and.
you can get a 2-pack that has 1 black pin and 1 clear pin
That makes sense.
for roughly $8.99, but that one's got a delivery fee on it.
If anybody has the background noise, can you mute?
Oh, that's probably me.
Sorry, Jamie.
Oh no, you're fine.
That is so.
Yeah, it looks like the clear one only comes with the pad, at least right now. Let me see if I can throw a link in here for you. No, I don't think it's going to let me. It's too long.
It's all right. Let me go on. Do it myself.
Yeah, just look on Amazon for Ranger embossing pin or Ranger perfect pins. They're both the same thing.
Okay.
And you just want to make sure you grab the bullet tip. Yeah, so that was it. It's all done.
Thank you. It was great.
I have those pins.
Oh, she's showing.
I've
me.
had mine forever and I keep forgetting to use them and I bought
I
them
do
twice
too.
because I keep losing them.
I keep forgetting too.
Thanks.
Well,
Jen.
and they're right there in my pin cup. You would think I look at them all the time, but you know, I just don't.
Excuse
But
me
they
now.
wouldn't they dry out eventually?
I would think so, but they can be refilled with vegetable glycerin. You
Yeah,
can
okay.
pop the back off of the pin and use an eyedropper to drop
I got
vegetable
lots of
glycerin inside,
that.
just like you'd renew the pad.
Okay.
Really? Vegetable glycerin? Is
Yep,
that what-
vegetable glycerin. You can
glycerin,
get
yeah.
it in the cosmetics section at the grocery store. Like Walmart or I think Walgreens even carries it. It just comes in like a little 2 or 4 ounce bottle.
Right? Oh, I've never.
You
knew that.
can renew your VersaFine embossing pads with the same thing.
And okay, so when you draw with the Cricut, it doesn't take, like, considering sometimes it takes a while for it to draw the thing. It doesn't dry out before you finish.
I
This-
haven't had that happen except one time. One time I tried to have it draw a big 10-inch mandala. And by the time it got done, the top like inch had dried enough that it wouldn't take the powder.
Okay. Cool. I was worried about that.
But that was kind of extreme. That was a really big item with a lot of drawing. Most everything else, I have not ran into that issue.
That's good to know. Thanks, Jamie.
Anybody
You're
else have
welcome.
any questions?
Hi, Dawn.
And Kathy's here too. I don't know if she's on your screen.
Oh yeah, hi, Kathy.
Deanna.
She's on my screen, but my camera's right in front of her face, so I didn't see her.
Okay, if we don't have any other questions, Jamie, I really appreciate you coming on the Melody Lane Crafting Zoom room today and showing us this, and we welcome you back anytime. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It was fun.
She sent me down another rabbit hole.
One more bullet.